Headlines pile up with wars, disasters, and scandals, making the world feel like a constant decline. Even when daily life appears stable, the mind is overwhelmed by dramatic stories, overshadowing quieter improvements. This happens because the mind relies on fast instincts that prefer simple categories, sharp threats, and clear villains. These instincts shape our initial impressions, often leading to final beliefs without careful thought. The cost is distorted priorities, where rare dangers capture attention while common, solvable problems are ignored. This also breeds hopelessness, as progress seems impossible when every update sounds like proof of collapse. Imagine a room of educated adults struggling to answer basic global trend questions, missing them by a wide margin. The surprise is that random chimpanzees would score better, revealing how confident guesses can be badly wrong. In the next minutes, you will learn tools to spot these instincts, replacing reactions with measured comparisons. This video is inspired by Factfulness by Rosling, and subscribe to learn practical habits that keep reality in focus. The gap instinct is the habit of dividing the world into two groups, such as rich and poor, us and them. It works by exaggerating the difference between averages, then ignoring the large middle where most people live. Once the split feels real, news about one extreme is treated as the whole story everywhere. This leads to poor forecasts, as decisions are based on a map that shows only two destinations. Imagine judging global living standards by only looking at slums and penthouses, then concluding that nothing exists between them. That contrast feels intuitive, but it hides how households move through different levels as basic needs are met. To see change clearly, replace labels with measurable levels that describe daily life more precisely. 4 income levels create that picture, from survival needs to basic security, then comfort, and finally high consumption. To control the gap instinct, compare distributions, look for the majority, and avoid judging by a single average. Use questions like who has improved and by how much to keep attention on movement, not labels. The negativity instinct is the reflex to notice bad news first and assume the overall direction is worsening. It works because threats demand attention, while gradual gains in health and living standards receive less coverage. When the mind expects decline, every problem becomes evidence that nothing improves, even when data show progress. This creates cynicism, and cynicism blocks learning because good methods get dismissed as naive or pointless. Consider Egypt, where deaths fell from about 30% to just a few percent over decades. A listener who hears only crises would never predict such change, so the baseline stays unfairly bleak. A fact-based view allows recognizing that problems exist, while many indicators have improved. That balance matters because hope, anchored in evidence, supports steady work instead of resignation or panic. To control negativity, compare today with the past, track rates not impressions, and ask what has improved. Also, separate catastrophic events from long trends so that emotion does not become the main measuring tool. The fear instinct often overrides calm judgment, allowing frightening images and stories to overshadow actual danger. Selective attention amplifies this fear, as alarming events are chosen precisely because they feel alarming. When fear takes control, people demand extreme responses that may not match the scale of the threat. Resources can shift toward what feels scary, while preventable harms that lack drama receive less attention. After a single widely reported incident, the mind treats that event as a new normal, rather than an outlier. This reaction can push choices that reduce well-being, even when the overall risk remains low. A fact-based approach separates hazard from exposure, refusing to guess without these crucial elements. Risk depends on what is dangerous and how exposed you are, not on how scared you feel. Before sharing a scary claim, pause and ask what the rate is, what the baseline is, and who is exposed. If this helps you stay calm under alarming headlines, subscribe to learn more reality checks you can use daily. The size instinct is the habit of reacting to a large number without considering what it should be compared with. It works because magnitude feels meaningful on its own, even when the base population is missing. Without context, one dramatic count can overshadow many smaller improvements, creating a skewed sense of priorities. This can mislead organizations, as the loudest total is not always where the biggest change per person occurs. Imagine 2 problems with equal human impact, but one has 10 times more people in the population counted. The larger group will always look worse in totals, unless the numbers are divided into rates or per-person values. Clear thinking involves comparisons, divisions, and proportions, so scale is interpreted rather than merely noticed. It also distinguishes between the biggest share and the biggest growth, as these point to different decisions. A practical step is to ask for the denominator, compare per person rates, and check whether change is absolute or relative. Once size is handled properly, discussions become clearer, as the same data no longer push everyone toward the wrong focus. The urgency instinct compels us to act immediately, as delay feels like indifference or failure. It narrows our focus to one dramatic solution, pushing aside uncertainty and trade-offs. Under urgency, people accept poor evidence because any answer feels better than admitting what is unknown. This increases the risk of overreacting, especially when a situation is framed as a once-in-a-lifetime emergency. Imagine a meeting where a shocking headline triggers a call to act today, even before numbers are verified. A calmer approach asks whether the threat is real, how large it is, and what actions have proven effects. Fact-based decisions can still move quickly when needed, but they begin with a breath and a check for alternatives. They also avoid the false choice between panic and apathy by separating immediate relief from long-term solutions. To control urgency, insist on data, demand clear comparisons, and treat drastic steps as the last option. Use small, reversible actions first, then scale up only when results show the direction is genuinely helpful. A calm view of the world is not optimism. It is accuracy built from better questions and better comparisons. A fact-focused mindset means noticing when instincts pull toward drama and choosing methods that reconnect claims to reality. You learned how the gap instinct hides the middle, how negativity hides progress, and how fear inflates rare dangers. You also discovered how size distorts meaning without denominators, and how urgency pressures action before evidence is checked. These tools compound because each one reduces a specific type of error, so the next decision starts from cleaner assumptions. Over time, cleaner assumptions improve choices at work, at home, and in civic debates where stakes are shared. Start with one habit. Pause before reacting, ask for a rate, and compare with a clear baseline from the past. Then practice naming the instinct you feel, because naming it creates a short gap where reason can enter. With repetition, the world becomes less confusing, because patterns replace panic, and trends become visible again. If you want more practice using these tools in real life, subscribe and keep sharpening your judgment with every episode.